I was instantly charmed by this piece of land. It was in May 2019 when we came here for the very first time, and because we were so focused on getting all the facts together of the house itself that we toured the garden really just very briefly. And but I remember on that short tour that this place left me an impression of a very gentle atmosphere, it had a good aura, and albeit it was very unkept, wild and overgrown. You can still describe this place as wild. It is geared more towards a natural and relaxed garden setting than a very formal kept garden. But this is how we want to keep it, like balancing in between the wild and cultivated, so that the transition between those two is as smooth as possible, and that you cannot see an exact line where the nature changes to our inner yard. So what we have to work with is 2 hectares or 5 acres. That's our plot size. Half of it is actually part of a Helmi program led by the Ministry of Environment, and it is there to protect the biodiversity in Finland and safeguard these vital ecosystems that we have. So what I'm talking about is that 50% of our property is a woodland pasture. It is highly endangered habitat and home to many equally endangered species of both plants and insects. And in order to preserve these habitats, they need continuous management so that they are not overgrown. The easiest way to do that it is to introduce grazing animals. They will keep the grasses short and let the flowers flourish. Usually wild flowers, they are not good fighters. We've done some test batches where we have manually removed the grasses, and it is amazing how all the flowers just explode. So the seeds are there, the roots are there, they just need more space. And it goes without saying that I will follow the process and share the results so that we can follow it together with you guys. And if you have any questions or if you are interested in this meadow management, just leave me comments so I can answer back to you. I have been collecting these traditional perennials for 3 years now from other gardens in the area, mainly because I want to find plant species that are very well adapted to our climate. These grandma plants, they are usually very low maintenance and require no watering or any fuss whatsoever. And that's one thing I don't do in my garden. I don't water any of my plants. Or, well, that's a little bit of a lie. I do water them occasionally with the water that is in our duck pond when we have to clean the duck pool. So then I throw the water from there onto maybe something that I've newly planted. But usually the plants, after I have put them down, they just need to survive on their own. I try to help, of course, with providing them a very good nutritional soil to grow in and cover the ground with mulch, but not much more than that. Our soil is very sandy and shallow. We are sitting on top of a rock. I don't know how these trees have managed to find some cracks to grow in, because every time I want to plant out a new tree, I have to dig out like 5 holes in order to find a place deep enough for it to, grow its roots and stand steady. One particular thing that I really like in our garden is our lawn. It's something you would probably describe as a tapestry lawn. In our case, it's just a meadow that has been mown, and over time it has evolved to consist of plants that can thrive in this type of environment that is kept short and people walk on. I love it because it flowers throughout the season, so from spring to autumn there's always some spot that has flowers on. Obviously it is providing a lot of food for pollinators. It's pretty to look at. It's always green. I don't know what more you can hope from a grass lawn. I have this garden dream to create a edible garden that's equally productive than it is pretty. But in order for me to do that, I would have to fence the whole area in because we are living in a deer-infested area. And I'm saying infested because the white-tailed deer, they eat everything. If we like it, they most certainly will like it too. There's not much that they wouldn't eat, and they are so tame that one particular summer, one of them gave birth right next to our house, and we found a fawn nestled in between the nettles. Yeah, they're not afraid of humans. They will come to the garden, and if they find something that is ripe, they will eat it. So you have to be a quick apple picker to get apples for yourself. I'm still not giving up my hope on that. I'm just thinking that I have to plant out even more edible plants like bushes and trees, so that there will be some left over for us too. Our kitchen garden, I have built a fence around it, so at least that little area is kept safe. We have a bunch of fruit trees in our garden. There's different varieties of apples, cherries, plums, damsons, pears. I do want to introduce peaches and all these type of things. I would love to have persimmon, kaki, because the climate is getting warmer here, and I think that in a couple of years maybe they could also thrive where we live, especially if the winters are looking like this. January usually is the coldest month of the year, but as you can see, there's no snow. I can be with my jacket open, so this is probably what we are heading towards. Then we also have different types of berries. We have black and red currants, blackberries, raspberries, gooseberries, and I think, like in my head, I see them as decorative plants as well. So, for example, gooseberry has a very interesting form, and I think you could just plant it out in borders and then mix it together with other perennials. So I don't want to make a separation between these are edible and these are decorative. I want to have them all, living happily together. I don't think you can ever have too much food growing in your garden. I've heard people say to me that you won't have time to pick them all and preserve them, but I don't see like that's a problem. If I don't have time to pick, then maybe a neighbor will, or the birds will. So like I said, this month has been very odd, and I was thinking I'm gonna start my gardening episodes much later in the season, but it seems that this is how the winter will look like. I will, just switch my thinking from normal winter activities like skiing into gardening. And it will be fun to follow like how this dormant space will come alive when the spring arrives. I'm happy to show it to you because it will look totally different. It has been a complete jungle, but now when the sheep arrive, maybe it will be different. It will be interesting to see. Obviously, a lot of things are still left unsaid and unshown, like for example our worst gardening nightmare in form of a old dumping ground we have here. Also, I want to show you our piece of resistance. That is our very large underground root cellar that we need to fix this year so we can start using it. A lot of plans to show, a lot of beautiful gardening days to come. Gardeners often ask what is their gardening philosophy, and mine is that I believe that gardens are reflections of one's soul. They are true portraits of the gardener itself. They are a window to how we look from the inside and a daily reminder that we are part of nature, that nature is us and we need to nurture it as much as we nurture ourselves. I hope to see you in the next episode. For now, I say moi moi!